I am the first Jason, the boy in the lake, the little slime boy. You remember, it's a face only a mother could love, as Freddy said. But the way that I got into it was kind of a combination of luck and nerve. I was a little kid who wanted to be in the movies, and Sean Cunningham was directing a movie about little kids who play soccer. And so I snuck into the audition very cleverly by bringing a clipboard. And I went there and I said, "Where's the audition?" And they said, "Well, it's upstairs." And I said, "Okay." And I just went upstairs, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute." And they handed me a script upstairs, and I read and got a part. And so that movie did okay. So the next summer, Sean wanted to kind of make up for his losses. So he said he had seen Halloween, he had seen Carrie, so he came up with this idea of Friday the 13th. And as he got the script, it called for a little boy. And, you know, at first they were thinking of using his son, Noel. But his wife put the kibosh on that. And so they said, well, who should we use? And it was Steve Miner, the producer, who said, hey, call Ari. You know, he's a good kid, you know. And they called me. They said, can you swim? I said, yeah. And they said, you got the part.
Well, I had worked on number 8, The Jason Takes Manhattan, and I came very close, actually. The original phone call I got for that was, would you be interested in being the stunt coordinator and playing Jason? So I came close to being Jason in number 8, and then when they came up to Vancouver to do Freddy versus Jason, I went to interview for the coordinating job again on the show, and they started talking to me about playing Jason, and I was surprised, obviously, because I just assumed Kane would be coming up to do it and stuff, and so when they offered me the part, I didn't think too much of it. It was another job to me, but then as I started doing it, I started to realize how big it was. You know, what a big animal it is and how famous Jason really is. So I guess that's when I started to get nervous about it. Then once I saw the movie with a bunch of fans, I lost all my worries about it. They seemed to love it, and I really enjoyed doing it, so yeah, it was good.
The next time you see Friday the 13th, I think what you should be aware of, which you'll notice in that film that most people don't notice, and it's one of the reasons why I think it works so effectively, is that the music only happens when the killer is there. There are a lot of places in that film where there could have been music, and we chose not to put the music. And in a way, what's funny about it is not scoring is scoring just as well as writing music. It doesn't appear anywhere else. So that was intentionally done that way. I mean, not all films are that way, but especially horror films where you usually hear a lot of music just to keep you agitated and stuff. But we chose to just keep it with the killer. So, I mean, that's something that's a choice, that sort of an interesting way, and I think that was a key thing that made that music work so well.
If you'll remember, the killer in Friday the 13th is Pamela Voorhees, the mother. And when the script was first written, there wasn't even that final scene. As you'll remember, the final scene where I come up out of the water and grab Alice, bring her into the icy waters of Crystal Lake. So I was just going to drown. The mom was the killer. End of story. But then, having seen Carrie, they came up with an idea for a surprise ending. And Mr. Tom Savini said, well, if he comes back up out of the water in a dream sequence, then we can make him look, you know, all slime covered as though he's been underwater for 11 years. And he liked that idea, and so they developed that ending, and you know, that's how the ending came about.
Well, I think this is my theory on it, and nobody's ever said anything to me about this, but I couldn't help but notice that the new Michael Myers is very close to my size, even a little bit bigger. And now they're talking about doing a straight Friday the 13th movie. And if they keep Jason's size the same and everything, then I'm thinking that they might want to team them up against each other in another movie that might be, you know, Freddy versus Jason versus Michael Myers.
First Jason, who you can check out at YouTube, just put in the word First Jason, and also at firstjason.com, is let's say it's the voice of Jason, because you know Jason has no voice. I'd call it dark rock or horror rock, because you know the hardcore guys call us punk and the punk guys call us hardcore, and the metal guys just say we're really weird. So it's just our own kind of thing, but thankfully we've been accepted onto the metal punk scene, and we toured all last summer throughout the Midwest. We did 2 shows here in Indianapolis, and then just this past October we did Rock and Shock alongside Mushroom Head and Typo Negative and Wednesday 13, and then on Halloween we played at Lucky 13 in New York City to a packed house.